Hey guys, what's going on? It's Cody. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. In this one, we're going to take a tour around Davis County here in Utah along the Wasatch Front. And I'm going to talk to you about where you should live in this area. If you're looking at making a move here, we're going to talk about what areas to consider and the pros and cons of living in these different cities within this county. So if you are thinking about making that move here to Utah, make sure to reach out to me. My information will be here on the screen. I love hearing from you guys. I've heard from people literally all across the world, and I cannot wait to hear from you as well. Call, text, or email anytime. Me and my team service the entire state of Utah, so no matter where you're living, let me know, and I would love to help you make that transition and make that move. I love hearing you guys' stories. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the map here and take a look at what's going on. So if we look at this map here, you can see that there is Davis County kind of covers everything from the north end of Salt Lake County here, where you've got Salt Lake City, and it goes up here to basically Hill Air Force Base and South Weber. So once you go above this, this is all considered Weber County in this area. So let's take a look at, we're just going to start down here and take a look at and work our way north and show you what we've got here. So this is obviously downtown Salt Lake. Up here in North Salt Lake, this is going to be the start of Davis County. So you've got North Salt Lake. You're also going to have Bountiful. Bountiful shows that it's up here, but you also get Bountiful up here along the benches. And then Woods Cross, again, showing here in the middle, but Woods Cross is kind of more of this western area right here. So you do have a small airport here. This is just a local airport, so you're not going to get big planes flying out of there. It's just, you know, small mom and pop type planes flying out here. And in this part of North Salt Lake, you do have a refinery. Let's see if we jump over here. If you can see it, let's see, where would that be? That's going to be right here, I think. Yeah, I think this is it. I'm trying to remember. It looks kind of weird from above. Yeah, so this is the refinery. So there is a refinery here in this area. So some people don't like living next to that. That's totally understandable. You know, not something that, you know, a lot of people would be interested in. But you do have this here in that area. So that's something worth noting. And then you also have quite a bit of industrial out here as well. So you're going to get a lot of industrial properties, a lot of shipping, manufacturing, stuff like that, because you do have pretty easy access here to I-15. So we get a lot of trucks that come over from I-80 in Davis, or excuse me, from the West Coast. And then they'll come up here. There's a lot of that stuff here, and they'll kind of, you know, move their trucks around, move their supplies around, whatever. And then they head north to go up to Idaho or into Canada, or they head south to go down to, you know, Las Vegas or Phoenix, whatever. Or they continue eastward to get to, you know, the rest of the eastern part of the United States. So you will see quite a bit of manufacturing here in this area. So that's also something to note. And the last thing I want to point out about this area is because you are closer here to the Great Salt Lake, you do have a higher groundwater level, which means that you won't find a lot of basements here in this area. You're going to find most homes sit on a slab, and then we'll have a second story. So something just to note there for this area here. Once you go up into the hillside, of course, a lot of these houses will have walkout basements because you are on a hillside. If we actually zoom in here, yeah, you can't really tell, but basically this kind of sits up here in the mountains, so you can see that you can get some pretty awesome views from this area, to be honest with you. All right, so that being said, let's move a little bit further north. Woods Cross, again, is going to be kind of this area here. It's going to be mostly single-family homes, you know, a little bit older part of town. Same thing with West Bountiful. And as you come up here, as you move further east, you do get into nicer, bigger, newer homes that are going to be more expensive. So that's kind of something you can generally count on. As you stay along this east side, homes are generally more expensive just because you're close to the mountains and you can get amazing views. So looking here in Bountiful, this is mostly just suburban type living. You know, you've got Bountiful High School, Bountiful, the Utah Temple, which is for the Mormon temple. Yeah, so this is kind of the Bountiful area. As you go up here, you're going to squeeze into Centerville. And the thing to know about this is that Centerville is mostly built out. You know, there are some smaller communities that are being built up, but like if you look at this, there's not really like any land left. You know, most of this has all been developed. So if you come out here, I mean, there's maybe a little bit. You've got Legacy Parkway, which is just an alternate highway, but that's pretty much it. Like everything is, you know, built up. There's not a whole lot of land left here in Centerville. So with the exception of like some little plots like this, where you've got a couple lots here and there, or right here, there's not a lot of land left. So there's not going to be very much more building going on in this area. you're either going to see homes getting torn down and rebuilt, or you're going to see these homes going through massive renovations over the coming years. So that's one thing to know about Centerville. Not a whole lot going on there other than that. It's basically just a suburban type area. And yeah, that's what you need to know. As we move up here into Farmington, one thing that obviously always sticks out is going to be Lagoon. So if we zoom out here, show you this here. So Farmington, as you go up, it kind of gets a little bit narrow right here in between Legacy Parkway here on the west side and then the Wasatch Mountains here on the east side. And as you move up into Farmington, it does open up a little bit. So Legacy Parkway, they're basically going to, I guess it would technically be off of I-15. They're actually going to extend this highway out to this direction on this road right here where my mouse is. And there's going to be another highway because the traffic does get pretty bad here in this area on I-15. So they're building another freeway that's going to come out here to the west side of this part of Davis County. So something to kind of note there just real quick. So coming back here to Farmington, before this area does open up, you've got Lagoon right here, which is our kind of like our Six Flags. So this is the amusement park, and it's currently closed at the moment because of winter. But yeah, it's kind of hard to see here on the map, but you basically got, this is our amusement park. So we've got roller coasters, the water park, they have a zoo there, you know, stuff like that. So that's a pretty, that's probably the main feature of Farmington. Now, if we zoom out a little bit more, again, as you stay along this east side, you're going to see more expensive homes over here. And, you know, Farmington overall, and even Fruit Heights here, which is up here to the north, these are going to be pretty expensive areas. Single family homes, you're looking $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 for a home here. There's not a lot of $400,000 to $600,000 homes left in these areas. So that's just something to kind of take note. You do have some really cool trails up here above Farmington. So there's some, you know, you can see the names here on the list. So there's some really good hiking and stuff up here if you're interested in that type of thing. So also worth noting right here is that I-15 splits off and goes to the west right here, or you've got 89, which will take you all the way into Ogden. So if I just zoom out a little bit here, you can see 89 comes up and basically goes straight here into Ogden and into Weber State. So you can get there from taking I-15, but if you're heading to like East Ogden, very often you'll get off here at 89. They're doing massive reconstruction on 89 right now. So depending on when you're watching this video, you might be finding some, you know, big construction going on here on this road. They're basically widening it, making it into a full-blown highway just because the traffic has gotten pretty bad. And so they're going to fix that. Which will be nice. So that's what's worth mentioning for the 89 and I-15. All right, moving up here into Kaysville. So as we move into Kaysville, again, it gets mostly suburban. There's not a whole lot going on there. There's going to be some interesting things, you know, like Davis Technical College. But as far as like your daily living, there's not a whole lot here other than just your suburban type stuff, right? So you're going to have your shops, your banks, your gyms, your whatever, but there's not like a big stadium or anything like that. There's not Lagoon like we just talked about in Farmington. So Kaysville, and you're going to find that you'll have homes that are bigger, nicer, newer in some locations, and then other areas you can find cheaper homes. You know, 400,000, 500,000, 600,000. You can still find homes in this area at that price range. So there's also a little bit more land here, especially out here to the west. You can see all these plots of land that are, you know, just like old farmland that are now being developed. So like right here, Symphony Homes is building a subdivision, and there's going to be another one right here. You can see that there's quite a few of those going in, and they'll continue to expand as the land gets sold off. So, yeah, there's also a little bit up here. This is kind of hilly over here. I say hilly. It's kind of mountainside, so not all of this is buildable, but just something to kind of note that you do have some land here, so there will be some additional building for this area. As you come up further north, you're going to hit Layton, which is right here, or as us Utahns like to say, we like to say Layton. Good old Utah accent. So Layton is going to be a pretty big city. If I zoom out a little bit here, you can see that Layton right here covers pretty much this whole area. So it's a pretty big city. It's probably the biggest in Davis County, if I had to guess. A couple things worth noting here is that you do have some older, nicer homes here along the east side of Layton, but you've also got a lot of land out here to the west. So you can see there's a ton of farmland here that is still being farmed and eventually will be sold off and will mostly become houses, right? There might be some areas that are commercial districts that turn into, you know, shopping centers or whatever, but this is mostly going to be houses in that area. You also have some up here. This is the mortuary. But there's also, you know, some small areas of farmland here. One thing worth noting in this area is that you are going to get some flyover traffic from the Hill Air Force Base. So they have their fighter jets that go out. They fly over this area pretty regularly. So every once in a while you will hear them overnight. I mean, that's maybe like once a year type thing where they do night training. And then during the day, you will hear them as well. You'll hear them fly overhead and then they're gone, right? So it's something that's kind of like, oh, you hear them for 30 seconds and then they're gone. I mean, it's loud enough that you're going to hear it inside your house. So just something worth noting here is that if you're on this east side where you can see this runway running here, you're going to get, some flyover noise. So just something to kind of point out there. All right. So as you move up here, you do start running into Weber County. So we're going to jump over here to the west and talk a little bit more about Clearfield, West Point, Clinton, Sunset, and Syracuse to kind of wrap up this Davis County video. All right. So continuing on from Layton, you can see here that in Clearfield, there's this massive industrial area here where you've got a lot of shipping, you've got a lot of warehouses and manufacturing going on here. So this takes up quite a bit of space that you can see on the map here, and it's mostly going to be surrounded by houses. As you move out further west, you do see that you will find more newer subdivisions, more townhomes, more single-family homes as well, going in these areas where this farmland is being converted. So again, because you are getting kind of close to the Great Salt Lake out here, you will find that you have a higher water table here. So a lot of these houses will not have basements. They're going to be built slab on grade, and then we'll also have a second story. So just something to note right there. As you move further west, you're also going to find that you get a little bit more bang for your buck. So you get cheaper homes, relatively speaking, but they will also be newer, bigger, nicer, and a better floor plan in most cases. So that's something that, is driving a lot of people out here to this area is for that exact reason. So also you've got some farmland here. And if we just zoom out a little bit and take a look at these two areas, Sunset, Clinton, these are going to be pretty much the same. Again, not a whole lot going on. It's mostly just residential suburban neighborhood. And if you come out here to Hooper, again, this is going to be where you get like really into the farmland where people have horses. They're farming the land on a regular basis. There's a couple of small neighborhoods and subdivisions here, but it is mostly just farmland out here at this point. So that's kind of a wrap on Davis County. Like I said, you can see that there's going to be this new freeway right here where this line runs. You can see that it comes down here on Bluff Road. I don't know if they're going to replace Bluff Road. I'd have to go back and check, but it's going to run like right along here. So there's going to be, new freeway going in here at some point soon. So something just worth mentioning, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up here on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And don't forget to reach out to me if you're moving here to Salt Lake City or any of the surrounding areas, the metro market, or just the state of Utah. I would love to chat with you. I've helped people from all across the world and make a move right here to Salt Lake, and I can't wait to help you as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.